Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our services, if we can please kindly turn off all cell phones or electronic devices, or please place them on silent. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll begin our service in loving memory of Barbara Goodfriend with the reading of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Just a moment ago, with Carol and with Sari, Rachel and Andrew, we performed an ancient ceremony which is known as Kriya. And the word Kriya literally means to rip or tear because something has been ripped or torn from the fabric of their family's life and the fabric of our lives as well. I mentioned the two very important things to recognize as they cut this ribbon in memory of Barbara, and that it was cut while they were standing, because standing is what we're taught to do as far as our strength, to show our strength, be as strong as possible. And we're surrounded by family and friends while we stand, because that's what gives us the strength to go on. This is very much explained in the story about a young boy and a father going down a cart, going down a mountain on a cart. And they get to a point where the road is blocked with rocks. And the young boy knows what to do. He gets right off the cart. He starts throwing the rocks off the side of the cliff so that the cart can pass. There was one big rock, though, that he could not move. And he went to his father and said, "Father, I can't move this rock." And his father looked down at him and said, "Have you used every bit of strength at your disposal?" The boy knew just what to do. He grabbed a stick, he was pushed, he prodded, he did everything he possibly could, but still could not move the rock. He went back to his father, this time his head held low, and said, "Father, I still cannot move this rock." His father snapped and said, "Have you used every bit of strength at your disposal?" The boy said yes. At that point, the wise father picked up his son's chin and said, "No, you haven't, because you haven't asked me for my help." The help that everyone in this room and other family and friends that you have will be giving you over the next days, weeks, and months will help during the most difficult time in your entire life. And we hope that the help of everyone here, the shoulders, the hearts, the hands, will help you get through this very difficult time. We're going to hear a lot of eulogies about Barbara today, but I'd like to start off just with a couple of comments. Her name really meant who she was. That, I'm sure everyone said that, but her name truly meant who she was. You're going to hear stories from family about the family relationships, but she was a good friend, no question, to everyone here in this room, my family included. So I know personally those feelings as well. And I know how much that she appreciated her friends in this room and how she always tried to mix her friends and family together because she was so proud and so happy with all of her groups of people in her lives that she always did that. My mother told me that when Sari was performing, Mom would ask people to come and watch the performance take place because she was so proud of the job that you did and proud of her grandchildren and proud of her entire family to begin with. We're going to start with comments from Carol, her daughter. So if you can please join me up here and share your thoughts about Mom.
Wow.
Here's a water for you.
Thank you. I have some props. Whew. I just have to take this in. Mom would be so happy to see all of you here. I know that sounds weird, but such a beautiful cross-section of her life, such a tribute to the kind of person that she was. I have something prepared. I'm going to kind of stick to it, maybe not. We'll see. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today to celebrate the life of my amazing mother, Barbara Sue Blesnak Goodfriend. She went by a few other names: Barb, Mom, Bubbles. We've come together today to remind each other of all the wonderful things she said and did. Sorry, Mom, my hair was back, but somebody pulled the clip out of my hair. I know she liked it better back. She did so many wonderful things. I'm just one person. I can't possibly cover it all, and nobody's got time for that. So there's a lot to say about a life well lived, and throughout, I'll be sharing some of Mom's favorite books with you, sort of like a book report as I go along. But let's do things first. Let's take attendance. All right? Raise your hand if you've ever had or own this. Okay, for those who don't know, this is a dish towel my mother used to sell in her linen business. Enough of you raised your hands. That means that you all know she had a business. It was a linen business and fine tablecloths. You all get 2 minutes back. Okay, we don't have to cover that. Barbara was born in Woodbury, New Jersey in 19 to Lenore Dubin Blesnak and David Aaron Blesnak. She had an older brother, Stuart, whom she loved and adored more than life itself. She was the favorite target of his humor and good-natured ribbing. Growing up, Stuart did his best to keep his little sister out of trouble. They were always close and grew even closer when they lost their father, David, when he was only 47 years old. Because of their closeness, they instilled the importance of love and family over everything else into their own families. My Uncle Stu was married to the love of his life, Aunt Marilyn. Marilyn and Mom got along famously better than any sisters. They even wore the same wedding dress. They were friends to the end with a deep love and admiration that they always held for one another. Mom commuted to high school, Friends Select, in Center City, Philadelphia, from Woodbury, New Jersey. She did not love this. She did not love school, nor did she love the commute. But she remained very friendly with some of her friends from her graduating class of 23 students. A few semesters at Temple University, blah, blah, blah. She met and married Lloyd Getz, and the best outcome of that marriage, of course, was, you guessed it, I don't need to say much here about me, because if you knew Mom, you've already heard enough about me. Rachel, Rachel, Sari, and Andrew already. Sorry about that, I'm a little nervous. My mom raised me by the book. This is it, Rach. When I was a kid, she would tell me certain things had to be done a certain way, and I would say, why? And she would say, because it's in the book. All my life, growing up, and I never saw any book. I didn't believe her, and was there a book? I don't know, I didn't know. But she did raise me by the book, and I know you all know my mom well enough to know what I mean by that. But when my first child, Rachel, was born, she gave me this book, and I'm going to share with you what's in it now. Okay, sorry. It says The Mommy Book for Carol Abelafia. Dear Carol, finally it is here, the book you've been so anxious to see. It contains all of the knowledge I had about raising children, and with love, I now pass it on to you. P.S. It also contains all the answers to every question your children will ask of you. And you all know it's completely blank inside. That's 2 props down. Okay. Here's some things that she did teach me in no particular order. How to play mahjong. How to fold a fitted sheet. Cream your elbows to keep them soft and looking nice. If you ever meet a Kappa Kappa Gamma from my friends at Cornell in the mid-'80s, be sure to check their elbows. I guarantee you they will have soft and supple elbows, as it was known throughout the whole sorority house that we had to cream our elbows. That's the only thing I think my sorority sisters will remember about my mom. I'm okay with it. Wear rubber gloves when washing the dishes. If you saw her hands at the age that she was when she passed away, you would say those are not the hands of a blah, blah, blah year old woman. Her hands were beautiful. Be kind to all. One of the things that she used to say that I reiterate to all my friends and my children is how to eat an elephant, which is one bite at a time. So when you come across something that's huge and scary, it's not insurmountable. You just have to take it a little bit at a time. And so we call ourselves elephant eaters sometimes. Nothing good lasts forever. Nothing bad lasts forever. That's a really good lesson that she taught me. And when things are rough, like things have been sometimes in the last year, that's gotten me through. Something else she's taught me, how to make sure your car is the most accessible when leaving an event with valet parking. It has something to do with a green piece of paper. Okay, here's one that's literal and metaphorical. Don't eat all your road trip snacks before you've left the driveway. Think about it. And finally, always count the silver before putting it away. My mom was always my biggest cheerleader and my harshest critic. She was raised with elegance, grace, culture, etiquette, and made every attempt to pass it on to me. I've always enjoyed when people tell me that I look or I act just like my mother. What a lovely compliment, and I treasure them all. Excuse me for the sniffles. Barbara married the love of her life, Elliot Goodfriend, in 1969. And like Mom and I, a package deal, Elliot was also a package deal, coming with a bonus brother in Jeff. Excuse me for a second. She would enjoy this too, the Kleenex. Barbara and Elliot were a fabulous couple, good-looking, cool, fun, and social. They had many good friends. And like all marriages, it had its ups and downs, but they loved each other fiercely. They had over 50 years together and were always loving, supportive parents to me. Okay, here's a book, another one of her books. This is called My Mom's Book of Holiday Dinners. There's a lot of pages. It's modeled after a similar hostess notebook kept by her mother, Lenore. Barbara tracked holiday dinners, break fasts, Passover seders, dinner parties, and meet the new guy brunches, like Meet the Abalafia Family or Andrew's first mention in the book, which was 2017 for those who are keeping track. Starting in the 1980s and went all the way through to the very last page, coincidentally, which was my 60th birthday luncheon that she recently threw for me. That was kind of strange and ironic. Held just 2 weeks ago. Each event lists the dates, the name of the attendees, what was served, comments like, no main course is a much better idea with so much food, or everything everyone brought was perfect. The book reads like a who's who of family, aunts, uncles, cousins, and more cousins. The book, a family of history of love and loss and life cycle events, holiday dinners that were attended by numerous cousins and friends, but not limited to Blesnaks, Dubins, Sossmans. If I were to name each of the cousins, then I'd run out of time again, and this tribute to my mom. But there are many of you here today, and it's lovely to see all you wonderful cousins. Thank you. In addition to the blue notebook, her friends will know this one. This is the red notebook, Barbara's daytime planner that went everywhere with her. Inside were the secrets of Barbara's universe: birthdays, anniversaries, appointments, card games, social and travel plans, volunteer activities, weekly visits to special friends, and when to pay bills. She lived by this red book through her final days, when she changed her Thursday hair appointment to Wednesday to accommodate the TV cameras that came the day before she died. We'll have more on that later. She had a way of opening up her red book with the fancy Judith Lieber paperclip, making a note in her book, and if it was written in here, it got done. Barbara made everybody feel special, whether they knew her a little bit or knew her well, and for a long time. She always remembered your birthday. She had a system where she would have all the cards for the month in advance filled out, and on the corner where the stamp would go, she would have the date when she would mail it out for the month. And then she would know, and I'm sure many of you have received a birthday card from my mom, and Hallmark has been very concerned with their business of late. Or as Mark Abalafi would say, thank you for helping them with their inventory problem. Mom always made an effort. In October of 2016, when I was in Haiti on a dental mission with Kids Dental Services, Jamie and John, Mom sent an envelope to Jamie with a note and some money to make sure that while I was in Haiti on my birthday, there would be a fun celebration. She just remembered everything, always. More books. I didn't bring them, you're welcome. More than 30 photo albums where she archived vacations with Elliot, summers at the shore, family photos throughout the generations, and her beloved days at Pine Forest Camp. And of course, I can't mention books without mentioning her love of art, books, and culture at the JCC, an important part of her community life. As a volunteer on the food committee, Mom said she spent more time in the JCC kitchen than her own, washing dishes, laughing, and having a good time under the leadership of Marcy LaHave. Barbara had many daughters and sisters of the heart, people like Charla, whom she met on a Greyhound bus, Joan and Marcy, the card players, her ABC pals. Forgive me again, too many to mention, but she loved you all. Here are a few other things that she loved. Oh, I forgot this. She loves, she listens, as Cousin Ellen says. She doesn't judge anyone except for us, her biological family. Here are a few other things that she loved in no particular order. M&Ms and red licorice, Sasser's chocolate chip cookies from Dorset Avenue, Rachel and Sari, and Andrew. The fact that Rachel and Andrew moved to Philly, and I followed. Rachel's sassy confidence and humor, Sari's artistic soul, and the beautiful art and music they are always creating. The fact that Sari is following their dreams. Andrew's quiet calm and strength. The way Rachel and Andrew love each other. Kleenex tissues and embroidered handkerchiefs. Here's some more things that she loved. Arnie's skirt steak. The icky innards of a hard-shell crab that nobody else wants to eat. Her card games and the girls she's played with in the various games throughout the years. Family, 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 family. The shore, travel, meeting new people and making new friends. Theater, culture, reading, knowing what's new and what's cool. Daily Wordle score exchanges by text message. So, Mom had not been feeling well, and after several months and many doctor visits, it was determined that Mom had ALS, that you also know as Lou Gehrig's disease. I always knew that Mom did not want to endure the suffering of an incapacitating illness. She watched her mother die of cancer and did not want to suffer a similar fate. She did not want to go through the horrible path that is the evil destruction of ALS, and so Mom chose MAID, Medical Aid in Dying. You can read about MAID in yesterday's New York Times, where the subject was covered. Legal in New Jersey since 2019, Medical Aid in Dying gave Mom the option to choose when and where she would die with the dignity and grace in which she lived her life. Having made it to all the important milestones on the horizon, the wedding of Rachel and Andrew, seeing Sari perform live in a Philadelphia venue and being able to show off to her friends, celebrating my 60th birthday with me, Mom was blessed with a full and beautiful life. Mom decided that she would take advantage of the freedom she was permitted in the state of New Jersey to not have to see the progression of ALS to its terminal ending. So, through word of mouth in the Death with Dignity community, CBS News reached out to Mom to ask if they could film Mom and interview her about her decision to use medical aid in dying. The day before she died, Mom sat for 45 minutes with no makeup, with an award-winning journalist on camera answering questions about her decision. She was incredible. I am so proud of her for sharing her story in a way that will help educate others and possibly influence legislation in New York and other states. She said, "I would choose to live if I could, but this is not living. This is just existing." This type of decision is typically a very private matter, but since CBS has filmed it. I thought it was worth sharing with all of you how brave and amazing she was. The CBS story will air sometime in January, and I promise to let you know the details when I know. We spent the last week together as a family, laughing, crying, telling stories, more laughing and more crying. Mom gave me a lot of instructions on how things should be at the house. So if something is not quite right, as you know, Mom would have had it, she did tell me we just couldn't get to it all. Make sure those chairs are centered under the sconce. If you have a pull in that rug, there's a guy who has an ad in The Voice. You can call him. Make sure that all the friends who want to take one of my handkerchiefs take a handkerchief, et cetera, et cetera. There were a lot of instructions. But more importantly, we all had the chance to say what we wanted to say to each other. And we laughed, and we gathered around her on the bed, and we sang. And it was really a beautiful week. Mom had the privilege to receive numerous notes, texts, and calls from many of you, offering kind words, your gratitude for your connection, and the kindness that Mom showed you, and the good times that you all shared with her. Most people don't get a chance to have so many lovely goodbyes. But as we know, Barbara Goodfriend was not most people. She made sure to end each delicate conversation with funny things like, "I'll keep this note for the rest of my life," or "I'll remember this conversation as long as I live." She knew how difficult it was for people to say goodbye to her and wanted to make sure each person left their interaction laughing and smiling. She recently said to me, "The most important thing you can be is kind," and that she was. She made each and every one of us feel like we all had our own special relationship with Barbara, and we did. I knew my mom had many friends from different parts of her life, but until recently, I didn't realize how many people felt so deeply connected to her individually. What a wonderful gift we have all shared. In her kindness, she took a page out of Maya Angelou's book, which I will paraphrase. People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And that was my mom. A lot of props.
And thank you, Carol. The poem Afterglow reads, "I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I like to leave an afterglow of smiles when life is done. I like to leave an echo whispering softly down the ways of happy times and laughing times and bright and sunny days. I like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun of happy memories that I leave when my life is done." I'm going to ask Sari if you would join us and please share your memories.
Surprise. Oh, you are all so beautiful and dressed so fabulously, and she would love it. My mom shared a lot, and I've found it difficult to really find the words because she was so larger than life. But sitting around in the house for the past couple weeks was really incredible, and I'm not one to be found without words. But so I have this song, and I was playing it for her when she fell asleep, and so you will all hear it now too. I don't know what I will call it yet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Margaret Mead wrote, "Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, your memories of the times we've loved, the times we've cried, the times we've fought, the times we've laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never be gone." Continuing on with stories and memories of Barbara will be Cousin Ellen.
Sorry. My cousin Barbara. She was not only my cousin, she was my friend. And though I often felt like we were sisters, when she said we were sisters, my heart filled with joy that she felt the same. We often talked about how happy our mothers would be that we were so close and had so much fun together with so much laughter. She was often there for me in some of my darkest, most miserable hours, always with a few sensible words, a kind ear, a shoulder to cry on. She helped me through so many things with her humor and love and wonderful outlook. I was always learning from her. I think I will always be, even now. I told her the other day I still had things to learn from her, as we do from our friends, and we become better people because of it. Joan and Marcy, among other friends, were surprised when we decided to go away together for 6 to 8 weeks, never having traveled together. And then, with me bringing my newly adopted dog, Philly, with whom she fell in love within 24 hours. Philly added so much to her joy and our joy. And last week, Barb insisted I bring her back to her house with me instead of leaving her at the sitter. So there will be a dog at the house, just fair warning, but she's little. Whoever could have imagined that Barbara would have allowed a dog in the house, let alone sleeping on the bed? She was a light for all of us, a gift of love, great humor, and generosity. The proof of everything wonderful in her exists in Carol, Rachel, and Sid. Now I'm going to read an edited version of a poem which was read at Lenore's funeral and that my mother had taped to the back of the photo of Lenore, which was in every room wherever she moved, she had it close by. When I am dead, I do not want a curious crowd to come with lamentations loud when I am dead. Nor do I want my words or ways rehearsed by them with tardy praise when life has fled. I only want the faithful few who stood through good and evil too, true friendship's test, just those who sought to find the good and then, as only true friends should, forget the rest. I'd have them come, those very few, not in this case, more than a few, and drop perhaps a tear or two, and then, without a sob or moan, go softly away and leave alone my soul to rest.
Thank you, Ellen. You can shed a tear because she is gone, or you can smile because she lived. You can close your eyes and hope that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn back tomorrow and live for yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that he or she is gone, or that you can cherish her memory and let her live on. You can cry, close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can always do what she would want you to do. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. I'm going to ask if Rachel can please come up and share her words about her grandmother.
Hi, oh my gosh. All right, well, I also have a couple props, but they're just for me. It's a cough drop and a handkerchief. I am truly overwhelmed at how many people love my mom as much as I do. I didn't know if we'd be talking about Maid today, so I didn't make it as part of my prepared remarks, but part of that gift was the time to think of these things and write them down and share them with her. So she's heard just about all of this, so that's also good. All right. My mom is my favorite person, and that includes you, I'm sorry. All of us should be so lucky to have a person that just gets you. And for me, that has always been her. My love of travel comes from her and my granddie. They would go on some really incredible trips with even better friends, some of whom are here. And I would always really beg them to take me with them. And she'd always say, no. But someday you'll have your own. And she meant it. I take after her with my wanderlust, and I take after her in the way that I like for things to be just so. It is really a privilege to have so much of her in me. Among all the feelings I've had in the last few weeks, I am more filled with gratitude for every minute I have been able to spend with her. I'm grateful that Andrew and I moved to Philadelphia. I'm grateful for when we locked eyes and shared a wink while I was up in the chair during the horror at the wedding. I am grateful for all of our summers at the shore. I'm grateful for being roommates for 3 months in 2021 and watching Dancing with the Stars in bed. I'm grateful for our muddy ATV ride in Mexico when she kept telling me to just go faster and she didn't care about her white capri khaki pants. I'm grateful for her love of camp and that she sent her daughter who sent me. I'm grateful to carry all the best parts of her with me every day of my life in my wedding band, which was also hers. We would always joke, her, me, my mom, and Sari, who was my grandie's #1 favorite, and who else was #2, #3, and #4. Everyone thinks they're the favorite. Although, one time she really did tell me that she thought I was the favorite as the first grandkid, but that's neither here nor there. My personal theory is that she was always #1, and it was a little joke between the two of them to watch the other 3 of us duke it out. And then they would laugh to themselves about it behind our backs. This is unconfirmed. I chose not to because I just want to believe that it's true because it makes me laugh and it feels very them. My mom's life was one filled with laughter, as we've been talking about all today. She made me promise multiple times recently that I would always laugh and keep my sense of humor when the world feels tough. She also told me that she does not want to be thought of as tragic. She lived an amazing, long, beautiful life for, as my mom said, years. Our memory of her is joyful, full of laughter, fun, and quality time spent together. In her words, remember it as good times with the good friends, and we can all honor her by continuing to make memories with the people we love. Her memory will be a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel and Andrew. At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we'll remember Barbara Goodfriend. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we'll remember an amazing wife. At the opening of the buds and rebirth of spring, we'll remember a loving mother. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of autumn, we will remember an incredible mamam. At the rustling of the leaves and the beauty of autumn, we'll remember her. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember a good friend. As long as we live, she too will live, for she is now a part of us as we remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, when we have joy we crave to share, when we have decisions that are difficult to make, when we have achievements that are based on hers, we will remember her. As long as we live, she too will live, for she is now a part of us, as today and always we will remember her. I'm going to ask if we can please take a moment of silence just to remember how Barbara touched your lives. I'm going to ask if we can all please rise for the memorial prayer. El Malay Rachamim, Shochein Bambromim, Hamazei Minucha Nachona Tacha Kanfei Chashina, the Ma'alo Kedushim et Chorim, Kezoar Harakia Maschirim, et Lishmat Barbara Goodfriend, Shalach Laholamo. Anabal Harachamim Yashtirehub, Beseder Kenafecha Laolamim, Vitzror Bitzror Chachaim et Nishmato, Adonai Hu Nahalato, V'yanuach B'Shalom Mishkavo, V'nomar. Amen. O God, full of compassion, thou who dwellest on high, grant perfect peace under the sheltering wings of your presence, among the holy and pure, under the soul of a beloved wife, mother, mamam, and friend, Barbara Goodfriend, who is gone to her eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the worthy and righteous, loving deeds that she performed in the land of the living, and may her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou her possession, and may she always rest in peace. As we say together, Amen. And you may be seated. Immediately following the conclusion of services here at the chapel, we're going to be going to Crescent Memorial Park for the burial. After the burial, everyone's invited back to Barbara's late residence, 63 Festival Drive in Voorhees. Shiva will be this afternoon with Minyan at 7 o'clock, correct. And tomorrow again from 1:30 to 4, and then 6:30 with 7 o'clock service again tomorrow evening.